Okay, we start. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So last week we have a topic, visible nibbana. So nibbana is we can understand as the ultimate happiness, because happiness is happy, is peaceful, because there are the extinguishment of the all of the defilement. So what is the defilement? That's a greed, anger, and delusion. So for us to try to practice is we cannot like totally extinguish the whole defilement, but when we practice, at least sometimes we have less greed, less anger, and less delusion. So that is, we can feel nibbana, at least a little bit peaceful of nibbana. So that's why we call visible nibbana in that way. So that is an encouragement for us to try to practice more and more. So that is the last week lesson. So today's lesson is so nowadays there are so many devotees who are really proud that they attend so many Dhamma class. They learn this class, they study from another monk here and there, and they proudly, yeah, I learned this and that a lot. And even big subject and the small one, the normal one, they don't need to study for some of them like that. So the question come out is, should or should not do like that, study like that, and we should learn much or little from the Buddha teaching in the Buddha way. Is it? So what Buddha think about that? So we have today's topic, learn much or little. So today's topic is based on 3 discourses in the collection of number discourse. The Buddha talk about in the collection of number discourse. The Buddha said there are 4 kind of person, 4 kind of people are found in the world. The first one is the few listening or little learning. So when we talk about listening and learning, actually the word in Pali word is sutta, is referred to listening, because in the ancient time they just listen. That's how they learn. So even we said listen or learning is a similar meaning. So few listening, little learning, but not get the point of the learning. That's the first one. The second one, few listening, little learning, but get something from the learning. The third one, much listening while learning, but not get anything from the learning. And the fourth one, much listening while learning and get something from the learning. So that is 4 kind of person. So we talk about the first one, the one who learn a little, listen a little, but not get anything from the learning. So before we come to that, we should talk about there are 9-fold division of the teaching. So we know nowadays there are 3 Pitaka. The teaching of the Buddha divided into 3. There are 3 Pitaka or 3 Paskas. The Paskas of discourse, the Paskas of the discipline, and the Paskas of systematic treatise, Abhidhamma. But that is how the teaching of the Buddha divide after the Buddha passed away. After the Buddha passed away, the monk gather and they recite the whole of the teaching, and they try to rearrange. So that's why we have nowadays 3 basket or 3 Pitaka. But during the Buddha time, there is no such thing called Pitaka. But there are we call the 9-fold division of the teaching. So the teaching of the Buddha divided to the 9 division, or we can say like chains. Okay, the first one, it is the sutta, is the statement. So whatever the word, the discourse, whatever discourse teaching by the Buddha, so it referred to the first division called discourse. The second one is the mix of the prose and verse. So whatever the discourse, there are some prose and some verse mixing, so to the second division. So the third one is for the discussion. The discussion is only prose, not verse. And the fourth one is the verse to only verse, no prose. And some inspire exclamation. So sometimes the Buddha feel he happy, he delight in his practice. So he have some verse. He inspired by practice, and he exclaimed it himself. So that is the inspired exclamation. And sometimes the Buddha teach, and somebody remember it, and they report it to another person. So that is called Itivuttaka. And some we call the story of past life, we call Jataka. So the collection tell the past life of the Buddha before he become a Buddha, how he practiced. That is the collection of story of past life, the Buddha. Sometimes the discourse it fall into the division of amazing story, like the Buddha will teach the discourse telling about the extraordinary characteristic of somebody, like about Venerable Ananda. And some discourse fall into the 9 division of we call elaboration. So we go too much detail about the 9-fold division to let you know that there are so many things and so many discourse that take a lot of time for us to read all of them, even to understand all of them, because we know that nowadays not only the discourse, the teaching of the Buddha, but there are also some commentary written to clarify the discourse to make us easy to understand. So there are a lot of things. And this the first kind of person, he or she just listen a few, just learn a few from the discourse, from the teaching of the Buddha, because he or she just listen, just learn a little from them, from those teachings. So they neither understand the meaning or nor the teaching of the Buddha, because not understanding the meaning, not understand teaching, so they don't practice in accordance, in line with the teaching. So that is the first kind of person: listen a few, learn a few, learn a little, and not get anything from the teaching. That's the first kind. So this kind of person, in another discourse, the Buddha referred them to the kind of person neither make a hole or live in it, because they doesn't understand, doesn't learn much from the 9-fold division of the teaching, so they don't understand what is the suffering as it truly is, what is the origin of suffering, what is the cessation of suffering, what is the path leading to the cessation of suffering, the Four Noble Truths. They don't understand. So because they understand like that, the Buddha called them a person don't make a hole and not leaving it, just like a rat. The rat doesn't know how to dig a hole and doesn't know how to keep himself safe in the hole. So that is the first kind of person. So the second kind of person, so the first kind of person refer to the person who don't understand, don't learn the teaching of the Buddha, and don't practice well, okay? So the second one is the person who learn a lot, much learning, and get something from the teaching. So he learned a lot from the ninefold division of the teaching because he has learned a lot. So he understand the teaching, he understand the meaning, and then he practice in line with the teaching. And that person is called a person who know to make a hole and know to how to live in it, just like a rat. Just like a rat knows how to dig a hole and live in it, because he or she learned the teaching and then know what is the noble truth is, what is the suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So that is the best one, because that is referred to an arahant or a noble person who practice to eradicate all kind of defilement, and he or she learn a lot from the teaching of the Buddha. So, and the third one is the person who learn a little, learn a few, but get something from the teaching. So there are ninefold division of teaching, lot of things, but he or she doesn't learn all of them, just know a little. But even they learn just a little from that, they understand the meaning, understand the teaching of the Buddha, so they put into the practice, because they practice in line with the teaching like that, so they get the benefit. This is called a person who live in the whole but not make it. So he or she learn the teaching, understand what is the Four Noble Truth. He or she just like a rat that live in the hole but no need to make it, because they keep himself safe in the hole but not really make it really beautiful, really big enough for them, for their safety. So it's referred to arahant or a noble person that just learn a little, but they practice well and they eradicate the defilement. They have peaceful life. So the third kind of person is the one who much learning, learn a lot, know everything, but not get anything from the teaching of the Buddha. So he listened a lot of teaching, he read a lot of books, learn many subjects from many monks here and there, know everything. Whatever you ask them, they know. They will show you this and that. They talk really, really nicely, but they really don't understand the meaning, really don't understand the teaching. So you may ask that, why? They learn a lot. Why you said that they don't understand the meaning and the teaching? Because if they put it into practice, they will really understand. Because what the Buddha taught is his experience from the teaching. So if you put it into practice, you will share your experience, but not like just the book you read. It's the different thing, right? So when you read that Nibbana is free from greed, free from anger, and free from delusion, that's what you read in the book. That's others person experience, that the Buddha experienced. But when you put it into practice, you will feel how Nibbana is, how no greed, how no anger, how delusion is. So that's different thing. So that's why this kind of person, he learn a lot, he know a lot, but we cannot say that he really understand the teaching of the Buddha, because he doesn't put it into practice. So this kind of person is like the person who dig a hole, who make a hole, but not live in it. Because he learned a lot from the ninefold division of the teaching, but he doesn't know what is truly is the Four Noble Truth. Is the truth of suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to cessation of suffering. Just like a rat, make a hole, but just look that it's beautiful. I just look at that and no need to live in there. So that is the fourth kind of person. Refer to the person who read a lot, learn a lot, but no practice, have a bad sila, have a bad morality, for example. So refer to this fourth kind person, we take another discourse. There are some cases we can see nowadays refer to the fourth kind person. The one who master a lot, the one who communicates a lot, the one who recite a lot, and the one who think a lot. So there are four kind of person. So the person who is master of the ninefold division of the teaching, so he know all of them, he mastered them, he learned thoroughly, and he spent the whole day. Spend the whole day means he let a whole day pass just to mastering the teaching, just to learn thoroughly the teaching. He neglects the retreat. Neglect retreat refers to he leave behind the solitude, being alone. For what? For internal serenity of the mind, peaceful of the mind, calm of the mind. He just spent the whole day to master, to learn the teaching, but he left behind the practice, the solitude of the mind, the serenity of the mind. So that bhikkhu is called the one who master a lot, but not the one who live by the teaching. That's the first one. The second one is the one who teach all the person in full, in detail, the teaching he has listened, or he has learned, or he has memorized, he has mastered. He spent a whole day for teach other person, but he neglect retreat, he neglect the internal serenity of the mind. So that person is called the one who communicates a lot, not the one who live by the teaching. So the third one is the person who recite, who read loudly in full the teaching that he has listened or he has learned and he has memorized or he has mastered. So he spent whole day just to recite the teaching, but he neglects the retreat, not neglect the internal serenity of the mind. That person is called the one who recite a lot, not the one who live by the teaching. And the fourth kind of person is the one who think about, who reflect on, who consider in mind the teaching that he or she has listened, has learned, memorized, or has mastered. He spent a whole day just to think, just to reflect on the teaching that he has learned, has mastered, has memorized, but he neglect the retreat, neglect the internal serenity of the mind. So that person is called the one who think a lot, but not the one who live by the teaching. So in this for a person, I don't know how you feel when you listen to this part, but for us, we feel a bit guilty. We may see that nowadays there's a lot of monks and devotees who spend a lot of time just for these few things, just for these things, and we think that is this the way the Buddha encouraged? But according to the discourse, I just try to summarize for you, it seems it's not correct. Yeah, that monk, he tried to master the teaching, learn thoroughly, but the Buddha saying he's not live by the teaching. That monk, he tried to teach other person according to the teaching of Buddha, not talk about the person who teach something else. Okay, so he teach correctly, but the Buddha not call him the one who live by the teaching. The one who recite, who read out loud the teaching of the Buddha, but the Buddha not call him the one who live by the teaching. The one who think a lot, reflect on the teaching, but the Buddha not call him the one who live by the teaching. So we should think, reflect about ourselves. Do we go correctly the way the Buddha encourage us? So nowadays, many people say that they do they do this and that for the sasana, for the Buddhism, for the teaching of the Buddha. They try to build many temple, big, beautiful, do something else, but not come back to the teaching. So maybe they go further than this. So that's what I want to let you think about that, and we should ask ourselves, do we go correct in the correct way or not? So there's a fifth kind of person who that person the Buddha called who live by the teaching, Dhammavihari. So the one who master the ninefold division of the teaching, but he doesn't spend much time the whole day for just master the for learn the teaching, not spend the whole day just for teach, not spend the whole day just for recite, not spend the whole day just for thinking, and he never neglect retreat, and he always come back to the internal serenity of the mind. So that person is called who live by the teaching. So until now, so you can answer the question we raised in the beginning, that we should learn much or learn little from the teaching of the Buddha, right? So in the ending of the discourse, the Buddha said that whatever a teacher should do out of compassion from wanting the best for his disciples, that has been done by me for you. What does it mean? Whatever the teacher have compassion. He's the teacher. The Buddha is the teacher. He has compassion for us. He wants the best thing for us, for his disciple. So whatever the teacher should do, he already done for us. So what has been done? He said, you should do this, you should do that. You should not do this, you should not do that. He showed us there are 5 types of person like that. So what he has done for us is already done. What he need to do is already done. He teach us the Dhamma, the teaching correctly like that. So the next thing is practice. Put into practice is our job. It's our job. The disciple job is not the teacher job anymore. So we should know what is a benefit for us, what is good for us to do. So the Buddha, like a doctor, he gave us the prescription already. Okay, our job is to take the prescription, to buy medicine and to take that medicine. We should not wait for the Buddha, that the Buddha put the medicine inside our mouth and make us cure the disease. It's impossible. It's impossible. Sometimes they misunderstand the Buddhism. They pray the Buddha, please help me to overcome the unhappiness, the dukkha. Buddha, please help me this, help me that. But they themselves, they don't practice. They don't practice. So how can they be happy, right? So the Buddha gave the prescription already. So take the medicine by yourself. Make some effort, go buy medicine and put into your mouth and cure your disease. The Buddha cannot do the whole thing for us. So that's our job. So we should know which is right, which is wrong, and we should do it correctly. So today we study, there are 4 kinds of rat. The one who don't know how to make a hole and not live in it. The one who make a hole and live in it. The one who doesn't make a hole but know how to live in it. And the one who make a hole but just to look at it beautifully and not live in it, not shelter in it. So we should choose what kind of rat we want to be. We want to be less desire, less dukkha, less suffering or not. So it depends on us. The Buddha show us, okay, there are some kind of people like that come to the teaching of the Buddha just just to learn, just to teach, just to recite, just to think about that, but not put into practice. So such kind of person is not called the one who live by the teaching. If we live by the teaching, at least we get some point from the teaching, and we have the shelter to protect our life better than we just live outside. It's dangerous because of all of the defilement will burn us. So that's what I want to share today. Thank you for your listening.
Okay, discussing time. So just ask question whenever you have while I speak. So if not, I continue to talk. So today lesson, we learn about whether we should learn a lot or just enough for the practice. For that, now this day, you notice that there are a lot of monk, we call the one who bridge a lot, but they themselves don't really practice according to what they bridge. There's so many monks that, give the Dhamma talk very well. They talk and they seem to be very knowledgeable. They teach you all kind of methods of how to overcome your greed, your anger, delusion, all that. But when something happens, they are the one seem to be more greedy, more angry, and more deluded than the audience. So what is that? So it's like they're the one that try to gather enough information as much as possible so that they can reach others, to become famous, to gain from the donation, etc. So that's defeat the purpose, because Buddhism come to exist is to cure your suffering, to remove this greed, anger, delusion. This is the cause that all kind of suffering that we face. That's what the Buddha appears to show us the way to live true happiness. But along the way, we seem to forget the whole purpose. We just, steer a different way. And a lot of time, he just mentions a lot of monks try to do that, try to build beautiful temple, beautiful center, try to do this in the name of the Buddha teaching. But you come to think of it, whatever the beautiful, temple or whatever it is, it's just only, the building or the scenery. But what true happiness is, how do we deliver? That's the important part. So, if anything, we learn just enough for the practice to have true benefit to happiness in our life. That's more than enough. If you cannot save others, you cannot help others, at least you can help yourself. But if you don't, you try to do the other way around, try to learn as much as you can so that you can teach, you can talk well, but you yourself don't practice, then you not only save yourself, you don't save yourself, but you don't save others. Because what you teach may not be true. Because if you don't practice, you don't teach the true practice. You know what I mean? When the Buddha, he already accomplished that. So whatever he say is from his own experience. And he knows whatever he say will deliver the result. But for us, we repeat it. But along the way, we might miss out certain things because we don't know that we actually miss it out. Or maybe we misinterpret it because we don't practice. So that is very important. But for those who practice, and then if they listen to someone else talk, we know there is something wrong in the context. We recognize it right away. Because we practice, we know, right? So that's what he mentioned, that someone can talk very well, like learn as much as you can, but then don't practice like the rat, create the barrel, but just look at it, don't take shelter in it. He himself in danger from what is the purpose of the rat to get the barrel is to stay safe, to hide underneath it, to be away from the prey. But then again, you create a very beautiful burrow, and then you stand next to it, admiring it, and then you become vulnerable from getting, caught and prey on it. So we don't want that. So this one is, the prey here is defilements. You can learn so much, but you don't put into practice. You allow yourself for the defilement to attack you. And that's defeat the purpose of the teaching of the Buddha. So it's important that it's good that you learn as much as you can, then you practice, then you get the experience, and then you deliver. That is the best one. The second best is to learn a little bit, learn enough, I would say, and then put into the practice, and then liberate yourself from all the suffering. So if you cannot help other people, at least you help yourself. That's the purpose of the Buddha delivering. Okay. But now these days, people tend to be, they like to be famous, they like to be recognized, they like to show to other people they're very knowledgeable. So you're not careful, you actually go the other way. You increase your greed, which is pride, proud. You increase your greed, and you go against Nibbana, you go against the Buddha teaching. Yeah. So that's why it's important that try to concentrate enough, into the enough, and then put into the practice. And when you talk about the practice, a lot of people say, oh yeah, you keep talking about put into practice, put into practice. How do you put into practice? Well, we have the insight meditation, vipassana. And with the vipassana technique, it shows you how to deal with your greed, your attachment. It shows you how to deal with your anger. It shows you how to deal with your deluded mind. So that's the practice right there, and you learn enough. So whenever you have this agitation, you know how to deal with it to prevent the defilement getting bigger and consume you, right? So that is the practice. But then again, some of the knowledge that you might gain is just an encouragement. It's just to clarify something out. But at the end of the day, always resort back to vipassana. That's the important part. The reason you learn is you practice, and then there's something you don't understand or something you got stuck, then you resort to the theoretical part to clear it out and then come back to the practice. But a lot of people don't do that. They try to, learn as much textbook, try to consume, try to learn, to hear a lot, and then they repeat. But in the process, sometimes they learn it from the one who gave the talk, but not don't have enough practice. They might misinterpret it. But you are also at the same time, you also learn, and then you pick up the misinterpretation, and then you deliver inadvertently, you delivered wrong. And when you deliver wrong, you guide people wrong, and people practice it wrong, they don't get the result. So it's important that we take enough information, put into the practice, and if something that you don't understand, you come back, you resort to the text, or you ask someone who has experience to clarify it, and then come back to the practice. But one thing I guarantee you, don't worry about it. A lot of people say, oh, if you keep only practice that and you don't have enough knowledge, if someone asks you something, you don't know how to convey. But usually, that's not really the case. If you practice vipassana, because vipassana is to give you insight, knowledge, wisdom, panya, right? So the more you practice, insight develop. You gain insight, you gain wisdom. And if you read something, you pick it up very quickly. Someone quicker than someone who actually reads a lot but don't put into the practice. Because the knowledge, sometimes you understand it, but you don't know how to put into words. And when you read it, you say, oh, that's what it is. Now you have the wording part that you can. But there's no way that you practice, but then you don't know, you don't know how to say or anything. It's very rare. So that's why a lot of, when we practice the Mimma, a lot of teachers encourage us to do a lot more vipassana practice and less reading. because that's the true experience is from the practice. And later on, indeed, it's true. Later on, when we study Abhidhamma, we understand it. We understand it from the practice, from the practical point of view. But some people who learn only the Abhidhamma, which is the high teaching, they only learn by repeating whatever in the contact, and they can actually recite and repeat. But when you ask them, how do you put into practice? Like, I never thought about it. You know, that's not the purpose of the Buddha teaching, of why the Buddha teaches us. He teaches us so that way our life can be happier, could be truly happy. Not to teach you only to go out and to show your knowledge like that. I tell you one thing, this is come from true experience of mine. My sister, she's a Catholic. Because she married to a Catholic husband and she forced to convert into Catholic, and for so many years, 30 years, 40 years now, she's been practiced as Catholic and she become very devout. And recently, she faced a very difficulty. She faced, she played Facebook and see a scam, and so many things happen, and that person terrified her. Because of being so terrified, she lost a lot of sleep, and she lost so much sleep that, her mental, she got a mental breakdown. She almost, go crazy with it. So I dropped everything and I came home. I came back to Houston, help her. So I guide her. I say, okay, even though I'm a Buddhist monk, I have no intention to convert you in any way, but I believe my practice, my meditation can actually help you to overcome, this crisis. And if you believe me, if you trust me as a brother, not as a monk, as a brother, I will guide you the technique to get you overcome this. And she said, okay, I'll do anything to overcome this, because she become paranoia, think that FBI run after her, and she watched the TV, and Cass Patel was like looking, Cass Patel looking for me. I like, Anyway, she's very, very at a very serious stage. So I guide her to sit down and start doing meditation to guide her. So I coach her, every day for 2-3 hours, sitting with her for her to meditate. And then the rest of the time, I let her meditate alone, and she came back and asked me, and tell me the progress and all that. With a very, very small knowledge, minimum knowledge that I gave her for that particular time, she believed me, she trusts me as a brother who is a monk, and she put into practice. 1.5 months later, she overcome her problem. She cleared her head, start clear out. She become, she can sleep better. She told me that at night she doesn't get nightmare like she used to be. Before, at night, every night she got nightmare. And then the moment she opened her eyes in the morning, daylight story attack her. She constantly attacked. When she couldn't sleep, but if she actually fall into a little bit of sleep, she got nightmare, terrified nightmare, and then during the daytime, she kept thinking, she was running around with all this paranoia thought that people run after her, they will bankrupt her, they will deport her. She's an American citizen. And not only her, deport the whole family, all that kind of thing. But after she practiced Vipassana, only for 1.5 months, and she just listened and do just only that, nothing else. When she overcome, she regained to normality now. She's okay. As a devout Catholic, every morning she devotes her time to do Vipassana practice, and then at night, evening before she goes to bed. So I'm telling you, just only small, just a little bit of information from the Buddha teaching, and she gets so much benefit like that. Imagine someone who go from class to class, listen to so much Dhamma talk, and then when they leave the room, they just left everything behind and then come back to greed, anger, delusion. So what's the point like that? So she's not a Buddhist. she still gain benefit from it. She doesn't have to become a Buddhist, but she only listened to me. And also when she goes to the gym and she talked to her friend about she meditating and all that, and her friend also guide her, oh, you should practice like this. And all. She came back and asked me. I said, okay, don't listen to them. If you want to practice my way, then put trust on me. Then only practice what I guide you, because other people they learn from here and there and maybe not correct. Yeah. So I just let you know that learn enough, but practice more. Yeah. You have questions? Oh. Mm-hmm. The way I live my life as a Buddhist man. So I was just curious if you had advice on how to do that, how to continue that journey, and maybe get more into it. Well, depends on the basic part is like when you get angry, you know how to deal with your angry, and not just only that, how to be on the more the subtle side to be more preventive. Try to not to let that agitation grow into an anger, rages and all that stuff. But if you want to go further deeper into that, then you can start picking up reading. No problem with reading, and you read, and then you also try to continue to practice, and from there you keep growing and growing, rather than you gobble so much information that you cannot digest or cannot put into practice. So that's why you already put in practice. You know the technique of how to do vipassana, and then you can pick up more reading. I don't say that you shouldn't read too much. I say that you should read a lot and then also put into the practice. You got to find the purpose of it. If they talk about overcome greed, then they will teach you the technique how to overcome the greed. Not just only you shouldn't have greed to be happy. They show in the Buddha teaching, they show you every step of the way how to overcome from gross to subtle. A lot of time people are saying that angry, and people say, I don't get angry often, because angry is like hatred called dosa, right? And people think anger is like when you really get angry, you start cursing, hitting something very bad. But they don't know dosa can go, more subtle in the sense that you feel sad, you feel disappointed, you feel like you don't, you reject this. Those are dosa too. Those are anger too, and work in to that level. Greed, they say, oh, I'm a very generous person, I'm not greedy. But do they know that attachment is also greed? You want to hold on to something, or they want to become something that, like that is also greed. And because of that greed, it leads to suffering.
Like somebody do generosity, but when everybody know I'm a generous person, so kind.
Yeah. You see a lot of people now these days they do selfie, or post on Facebook. Do you really do generosity, or you want to be acknowledged? You are a very generous person. See, those kind of subtle that people don't know. If you practice vipassana, you recognize in my mind like, oh, I want to do good deed, but I want the whole world to see it, and I want the whole world to praise me like, oh, you are a very generous person. You are the one who very compassionate, But if you don't practice, you don't recognize that. Those are the subtle feeling that you have, and you're not careful, it leads to suffering. I give you, for example, when you do that donation, right, and then along the way somewhere, someone come along and they say, yeah, I do better, my donation is bigger. Okay, well, you have another, unwholesome person intervene and then tell you. And if you're not careful, you get upset. You see, you doing donation, do good deed, but then you get upset because people criticize you. There you go. But if you know how to practice, whether when you do the donation, you're happy with your donation, right? But whether people say negative or positive, if they say positive, you don't feel more arrogant, right? But if they say negative, you won't get upset because you know the meaning of donation. You know what it is. Then you don't have suffering. You don't have dukkha. Otherwise, you get dukkha right away. Yeah, this person, what do they know? But, things like that. So that's the practice right there, You got to understand, that's why we ask you, we want you to put into the practice and watch and look at your mind closely. And, whatever it is, you can keep your mind, stable. Okay? Yeah. A lot. That's what happened now. This way, I see a lot of people that they now this day because Facebook, they posted on the Facebook. My sister, because of Facebook, that's why she lead her to a lot of dukkha. She show how family get together, how happy my family is, and all that. And because she advertise, people see, and then that's how they get into her. And then one thing after another, scam lead her to a lot of paranoia. And she did a lot of prayer. She prayed 4 or 5 times a day, So, but then again, didn't help her. But the practice, the vipassana, that help her to overcome her problem like that. So, answer your question, I encourage you to do more reading. I know you do a lot of practice, but to open, the horizon, you can do more reading and all that. Vipassana, there's level of the practice, not just only, like what you're aware of your breathing and all that. It have level of it. Like, for example, my sister, she stopped at the level of having her mind calm and solve the problem. But if she is to continue, and if I'm to continue to help her, she will unfold to a different level to understand about anicca, the impermanent, how, this and that. That's step into Buddhism. But for her part, it's enough for her to have a very calm and clear mind. This level of vipassana, you know what I mean? Continue to practice, and then when you pass the level 1, you will step into level 2, level 3, unfold, and truly understand, how their body, how your mind works. And that's the true thing, the true teaching is in there. Yeah, but you continue to practice, and then, ask questions, tell us your progress, and then we can help you further. We don't want to talk too much in advance, because if you know too much in advance, when you meditate, you might have the wrong, I wouldn't say wrong understanding, but you expect and then create it in your mind and thinking that, oh, you got this level already. It happened. It happened to some of the devotee who came here. He read a lot, and then he meditated, and he think that, one of the gentlemen who came here, and he said, I think I gained the 3rd level of the noblehood, anagami, because anagami, because I don't have this, husband and wife desire anymore, because that's the anagami is he completely eradicate the sensory desire, the gross one, whoever the person who gained anagami, he has no desire in sexual relationship. He completely cut off of that, and he thought that he gained that because for a long time he didn't have any urge or any desire that. I say, wait, you want to say something?
Yeah, and listen to other experience also another problem. There one time during the retreat, So one person listened to another experience and asked the teacher that why I don't have such kind of experience similarly. Yeah, so it's not good.
Usually, the karma, the action, whether the current one or the past one, every single one of us is different. You face different result, okay? But the accomplishment, the attainment is the same. But the experience from previous life or whatever the action is all different. Every single one of us is unique. So what you experience through the practice may not be the same with your peer, with someone who sit, even though you listen to the same teaching, the same guidance, but your experience is totally different. So you can't expect that, oh, how come this person gained this kind of experience, but I don't see it? Because you don't do the thing that he or she did, and he or she didn't do the thing that you do, so you've come out different. Let's say when you meditate, your defilement may bubble up, and it will, remind you or show you this and that because of the condition that triggered, and then you see something. But then again, your defilement and the one next to you are different. But yeah, everyone will have the defilement bubble up. It will rise. That's the nature of it. If there's fire, there's smoke. But the type of smoke or the thing, it may be different. Depend on the chemical, depend on the thing. Sometimes you see white smoke, sometimes you see black smoke, sometimes you see purple, red smoke. Depends on whatever that is burning. But it will have smoke like that. So a lot of time when we have retreat and in the meditation retreat, the practitioner, we call yogi, every single one has a slot of time to report the progress. And some retreat has a group, the group meeting, the group getting, and then everyone, has a time to talk. And everyone else listen. And that can be pro and con. The pro is that sometimes good information the teacher explain and give knowledge for others to listen. But the con part is that you have a comparison. Oh, this person, has this great experience, praised by the teacher, and then the next time around he meditate, try to get the thing that person get, and it might not happen that way, right? That's the bad part. But in Myanmar, I attend the retreat. I go in the room alone with the teacher, and I have 5 minutes to report my progress, how I feel, what obstacle I face, and things like that. And the teacher listen, and then they just tell you, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. But most of the time, the teacher doesn't say much. The teacher just only close the eye and listen to you. And then when you finish your time, he say, okay, continue. That means that the whole time you're on the right track. But if the teacher tell you, if you keep talking, he closes his eye and listen. He open his eye, that is when trouble. Yeah, he open his eye. Don't do that. You go back and do this, that. Okay, so that means your progress is not in the right track. So sometimes without listening to what he say is a good thing. Yeah, 5 minutes, I keep talking. Oh, I go there, and okay. Go continue. I mean, oh, I'm on the right track. Yeah. So, but yes, true. Very important that you find good teacher. Now these days, a lot of people go out and teach meditation, even though they don't meditate themselves. But it can be good business, right? Because you have organization, people come, and I don't want to say things like that, but just be careful who you learn from, and also you go many places, and then you may pick up the wrong technique, and once you get it, when you learn it so long, it's very hard to undo it, and very hard to correct it. Yeah. True. Yes. So mm. Oh yeah, in the Buddhist culture, we have this belief that when you do good deed, you have punya, and then when you have punya, you can make a determination with the punya that you made, and a lot of time we guide the devotee that at the end of the good deed performance, you gain punya, and then you always make a determination by the power of the punya that I made. May I be around good friend, good teacher, to friend to teacher, like that. You can we use that like share merit. You can know that we share the merit with someone who in need, with the determination like this. Yeah, I did that a lot. Whenever I do good deed, I always, beside all the things, I always make a determination for me to be around good friend, good Dhamma friend, and most importantly, to be around good teacher. Not in this life, but in many lives to come. That's very helpful. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I think it's about time. So remember, text me or wherever that you with your practice and let me know what progress you make so I can help you to guide further. Yeah.